Welcome back to Learning with Merit. I am Mr. Merritt, and in this video, we are going to talk about using YouTube to learn. We're going to look at how to resize the player, some settings that you might want to tweak and change with, the keyboard shortcuts that you can use when using YouTube, and of course, how to operate those video transcripts. First, let's take a look at how we can resize the window. So here I am on a video of mine, Learning with Merit, of course, and we are looking at a video that we're going to resize here in the player. So there are three different ways that we can resize the screen. First, we can hit this little full screen button, and we can hit that to turn it off, or we can hit the F key and then hit the F key again, and that will take us from full screen to not full screen. Then we have theater mode, which is my personal favorite because it makes the screen bigger but still allows you access to all of the different areas of the video, like the other playlist and transcripts and stuff. So we can turn that off by clicking on this icon again. And if you want to cycle between the two, you can hit the T button on your keyboard, T and T. That'll take you back and forth through the theater mode. Then if we want to do mini player, and I usually only recommend this if mini player, of course, if you're going to be listening to something and not really viewing it, you can hit the mini player button. It takes it and puts it in this lower corner here, and then you can expand it back by hitting that expand button. If you want to cycle between that with your keyboard, you can hit the I key and then the I key again, just like that, and it will take you back and forth. And that's pretty much all we have for resizing the player. Again, I like theater mode for my videos. So let's take a look at the different settings that we can mess around with here on YouTube. So first we're going to come down here and we have the little settings cog. We're going to click on that. Now that is, you may hear it called a gear or a cog. There's lots of different things, but the settings icon is what you're looking for. We're going to click on that, and there are several things we can look at. First of all, there's ambient mode. You can switch that back and forth, although you may not notice that it really does that much. It sort of just tries to darken the screen a little bit, try to make things a little more immersive. I would just leave that on default. Next, we're going to look at subtitles. You can turn on subtitles here by clicking on subtitles and clicking on English Auto Generated, and you will see whenever I start talking in this other video that it will start giving you subtitles. Now, you can turn that on and off using the C key, so you can hit C and C again, and it will toggle on and off the closed captioning. If we look at the different options we have for closed captioning, we have lots of different things here. The font family is how the text actually looks, and you can cycle through those to see which one you like best. I'm going to pick monospaced because it looks very typewriter or computery. I like that. Then we're going to look at font color. That's pretty self-explanatory. What color do you like? I'm going to leave that on white. Font size is how big the font is. Goes all the way up to 400, all the way down to 50. I'm going to leave it at 100 because I feel like that's pretty good. You can pick that as you like. Background color. Background color is this highlight that you see behind the text. So if I turn it to yellow, you can see that it's highlighting the text with that sort of ugly yellow color. You can change it to whatever color you like there. And we're going to leave it on, let's actually leave it on yellow so it's easy for you to see. This next piece, opacity has to do with how see-through something is. So here we are at 75% opacity. If I do 0%, that means you can see all the way through it. If I do 100%, that means you can't see through it at all, right? Of course, that makes it really hard with white on yellow text there. I'm going to go and turn that down to 0. Then next, we're going to look at window color. So you can actually put a window behind this. We're going to use cyan for this to make it real easy. And you'll notice it didn't show up there. That is because right now its opacity is set to 0%. So I'm going to click on there and I'm going to turn it up to 100. And you'll see now it's not really highlighting the text. It's just sort of created a little window where you see the text at. One thing you do need to note about this is that if you set that, it's going to block off a part of the video where you can't actually see what's going on that part of the video. So it might not be a bad idea to leave it at least a little opaque so that you can see see through it, but also still see the background, right? So we'll leave that like that. Then we have character edge style. So this is around the characters. So all the letters and symbols that you see that pop up here as closed captioning, you can add little edge styles around them like a drop shadow. So think of it like the letter has a shadow. And maybe you can see that or maybe you can. It's kind of hard to see. But there are different little things you can play around with here. A lot of times you may not be able to notice a difference, but it's sort of worth looking through those if they help you. I'm going to leave it on none for now. All right, and then we have the font opacity. This is, of course, how see-through it is. We can go to 25%, and it's very see-through. We can go 100%, and it is not see-through at all. And then if we want to reset all of these changes back to the defaults, we can hit reset, and it changes everything back the way it was. In case you can't remember, oh, what setting did I change that did that, right? So again, those are our options for closed captioning. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off with the C button. And we're going to look at playback speed now. Now I have the playback speed all the way up to 2 times. We're going to set it back to normal here. So there's a couple things to know about this. One, if you start to get bored, right, and you need it to go faster, you can increase all the way up to 2 times speed. You can also use a keyboard shortcut for that. If you hit Shift and the period button, it will increase the speed. If you need to decrease the speed, you can hit Shift and the comma button, and it will decrease the speed. One thing that you do need to note, though, if you're going to go below normal speed, as you get closer to 0.25, what's going to happen is you're going to hear a very robotic sounding voice. And that is because the way that audio works is there's not actually any information there for it to slow down. Now, when it speeds up, there's more than enough information because it's going faster than the original. But if you slow it down, there's not enough data there to actually make the voice sound normal. So what you get is a very broken up sounding voice that's very robotic and very hard to actually hear. So I will recommend that you do slow things down, but only when you're trying to see something that is going on in the video, and not necessarily whenever you are trying to hear something that is going on. I'm going to go ahead and reset that by hitting Shift and the period button a couple times back to normal. So there's playback speed. Next we have quality. Now, when it comes to quality, what you're seeing here is P for pixels. That is the unit there. So 144 pixels, 360 pixels, 720 pixels, and 1080 pixels, like that. Now, 1080 is the best quality. In this case, pixels is going to be a measure of the resolution that we're dealing with here, so how clear the image looks. Then when you see the 60 next to those, that indicates the refresh rate, which in this case would be 60 hertz or 60 times a second. So I'm going to recommend for most of my videos that you turn them up to 1080p as often as you can, because it's going to make it the easiest for you to see what I am doing in the video, and 9 times out of 10, that is the most important part of the video. The lowest I would go is 720, and that is because, again, you need to be able to see what's going on. Depending on your use case, for example, if you have a pretty good monitor, you might be able to go down. But see, 144 is extremely blurry. I can't see anything that's going on. And if we turn it up to 360, it is a little easier to see, but still very blurry. Again, 720 is as low as I would go. Okay, and we'll leave it on 720p. It's a good balance between quality and the speed that you're going to get from the stream. All right, now that we've looked at all of these settings there, we're going to come over here and we're going to look at some of the options that we have on this side. We have our mute button, which we can click that to mute the video as it's going. We also have the little slider we can slide for the volume. We can use this little arrow here in order to go to the next video in a playlist, or the next video that it has been set up for us in a queue. Or we can use this little arrow right here to replay. And then, of course, we have pause there. Now it's time to take a look at all the keyboard shortcuts that we can use. I know that I've already gone over a few of them in this video already, but let's make sure that we have a good understanding of all of them. So if we are on this video here, let's say that we're playing the video and we want to pause it. There are 2 different ways that you can pause the video. One, you can hit the space bar and that will pause it. If you want to unpause it, you can hit the space bar again. Or if you want to pause and unpause, you can hit the K key. So you can hit K and you can hit K again, and it does the same thing. Now let's say that we want to go forward by 10 seconds or backward by 10 seconds. If we want to go forward, we'll hit the L key, and you'll see I'm going forward by 10 seconds at a time. If I want to go backwards, we're going to go with the J key, and that's going to take me backwards 10 seconds at a time. If I want to go forward 5 seconds at a time, I can use the arrow key, the right arrow key. If I want to go backwards 5 seconds at a time, I can use the left arrow key. And it's pretty simple. Now, let's say that I want to go forward frame by frame or backward frame by frame. Here I'm going to hit the space bar so that I can stop the video. When I am paused, if I want to go frame by frame, And if you don't understand what that means, what frame by frame means is that videos are basically a whole bunch of pictures played sequentially one after the other. And so each frame is like a picture of that video, right? And so what's going to happen is if I go frame by frame, I'm going very, very slowly. It makes it really easy for me to catch something that was done quickly in the video. So if I have the video paused, and I make sure that I just paused it there, I can click the period button to go forward frame by frame. Now, you're not seeing much here right now because it's frame by frame. It's very slow. So you may have just saw that the cursor actually disappeared there next to the number 2 on that video. And if you keep watching, maybe something else will happen as I keep hitting this key. Right, we're going to keep hitting. Ooh, and you saw the cursor just come back, right? So we're going frame by frame. If I go backwards, I can use the comma button, and I can keep hitting it, and there you should have just saw that frame, or that cursor go away next to the 2 there on that video. And if I keep going, maybe it'll show back up again. Keep watching it. I'm going to keep hitting this key, and there it showed back up again. So I'm going frame by frame to do things very slowly to maybe catch something that I did not see. Next, let's say that we want to go to specific parts of the video, right? We want to go specific parts of the video. There's several different things that we can do. If we want to go all the way to the beginning, we can hit the home button on our keyboard. That takes us all the way to the beginning. Let's say we want to go all the way to the end. We hit the end key. And in this case, it automatically takes me to the next video. So I'm going to click on functions again. Let's say that I want to go to the very beginning, and I don't want to use the home key. I could also use the 0 key. 0 will take me all the way to the beginning. And then I can use the number keys to jump ahead by percentage of the video. So if I hit 1, that takes me 10% of the way into the video, 2, 20%, 3, 30%, 4, 40%, 5, 50%, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9 is 90% of the way into the video. So you can use those number keys. Let's say that we want to go by chapter. If you want to go by chapter, let's go all the way back home. So I'm going to hit 0. Going by chapter, you're going to hit the control key and the right arrow key. And the right arrow key will take you forward by chapter, and this is the timestamps in the video. If you hit control and the left arrow key, it will take you backwards. So backwards by chapter, or towards the beginning. Chapter by chapter, of course. Again, those are the timestamps. Now, we already talked about how to go to the beginning with home and how to go to the end with end. We can also go to different videos using some shortcuts. So we can hit shift and we can hit N. So if I hit shift N, it takes me to the next video in the playlist. If I hit shift and P, it takes me to the previous video in the playlist. Right, and that's very useful if you're watching a lot of videos sort of in order there. Okay, now a couple of things that we have already talked about. Let's say that we want to increase our playback speed. So I'm going to make sure I'm clicked here. I want to have focus on the actual video. If I want to increase my playback speed, I'm going to hit shift and the period button, and you'll see that it's increasing. If I want to decrease it, shift and the comma button, and it is going to decrease now. Make that real easy. Let's say that we want to do closed captioning. We already talked about that. We can hit C and turn that on. We can hit C and turn that off. Let's say that we want to do something with the volume, right? So here we have the volume. I'm going to make sure that the video is playing real quick. Here we have the volume. Of course, we can click stuff, but you'll see that it says M. I can hit M to mute the video while it's playing, and I can hit M to unmute it. If I want to change the volume, I can use the up arrow key to increase the volume. If it's already at 100%, it can't go any higher than that. But I can also go down with the down arrow key, and that will take my volume lower. There's only a few more for us to look at. Let's say that we are in full screen mode, and I want to get out of full screen. I can hit the escape key. It actually tells you that. You can hit the escape key, and that will take you out of full screen mode. Right? And if I want to go to the address bar up here very quickly, the quickest way to do that is hit the / button on your keyboard. And you saw it took me straight up there to the search bar for YouTube. So this covers pretty much all of the keyboard shortcuts you might be using while playing YouTube, and they are very useful, especially if you're watching YouTube a lot for learning videos. All right, now it's time to take a look at transcripts on YouTube videos. These are very, very useful tools, especially whenever you're trying to track something down in a video, right? You don't want to have to watch the whole video again. You just want to go to a specific part or learn about a specific thing in the video. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down here, and in the video description, you're going to click More. This is also where you can see a lot of those timestamps that you may be using, right, during the course of a video to go and find a specific part of the video. And under the timestamps, you will see Show Transcript. Now, the transcript is going to be automatically generated, and it is the full text of what is being said throughout the entire video. And this is very, very useful. Primarily because maybe, oh, I see, hey, he's talking about conditionals here or whatever, and I want to see that part. So I can click right there, and it takes you to that point in the video. Or you can scroll way down here, and you're looking through it, and you can say, oh, 8:49, there's something going on there. And you click there, and it takes you to that point in the video. So this is very useful for looking through and finding things that you want to listen to, but you don't want to sit there and watch the whole video out or have to cycle through the whole thing searching for it. Let's say that you don't know where in the video you might be looking. You can hit Control and F, and this is a very useful tool that you'll find almost anywhere. I encourage that you use it a lot when you're computing, but Control F is find. It's going to help you find some text. So this video happens to be about functions, and one of the things I know about functions that maybe you might be learning about is what a parameter is. So we're going to type in parameter, right, like that. And this is going to show, it shows up 34 times on the entire page, and that's going to include the transcript here. So what we can do is we can hit enter, and it's going to take us through every occurrence of the word parameter and cycle through. Or if we just want to, we can come up here to the transcript and we can just scroll through and see highlighted every place where that text actually shows up, and I, in this case, or whoever is the YouTube person who's making the video, says that particular word. Now, this isn't going to be 100% perfect because YouTube is not always going to be perfect at making these transcripts, but it is still an extremely valuable tool that you can use, and I recommend that you use Control F and the transcript on just about any video you're watching where you are trying to learn something and not waste your time.